Argument 1, Matthew 10:28, destruction of both body and soul. In Matthew chapter 10, verse 28, Jesus says, quote, "Do not fear those who can destroy the body. Instead, fear the one who can destroy both body and soul in hell," end quote. When I first came across this verse as a teenager, if you know my story, I was a nominal Christian for most of my life. Didn't really truly I kind of believed that Christianity was true. I agreed with the creeds, but I didn't really give my life to Christ and be born again until I was in my late teens. And it was then that I actually started to read the Bible for myself rather than just absorb it through sermons when my parents would take me to church on Sunday, or Bible movies they would put on Christmas and Easter. I actually picked up the text and started getting into the text. And when I started with Matthew's Gospel, started with the New Testament, and because I didn't want to have to read through a whole bunch of Old Testament books before I got to Jesus. So I started with Matthew, and I came across this verse, and it really struck out to me. It really was jarring. Do not fear those who can destroy the body. Instead, fear the one who can destroy both body and soul in hell. Wait, does this passage say that God is going to destroy both body and soul in hell? Yeah. Well, what happened? What does a human consist of? A body and a soul. Well, if you destroy a body, what do you have left? Well, you have the immaterial soul just kind of floating there as a disembodied consciousness. What happens if that is destroyed as well? Well, you've got nothing left of the person. There's nothing left. If the body and the soul are both destroyed, there's no person left. And yet I had been taught that hell was eternal conscious torment. The soul is not destroyed, and in fact, the body will be made immortal and indestructible, and it won't burn up in hell. So neither of these will be destroyed, really. And yet Jesus is telling his followers that do not fear the one who can destroy the body. That would be human beings in the context that I'm going to look into, because every time you pull up a verse that says, hey, this is good evidence for my position, I find usually people say, oh, you're taking that out of context. Even though if you read the entire chapter or even the entire dang book, it doesn't change the meaning of the verse. So I'm going to show you the context to silence critics who would say that. But yeah, do not fear your persecutors. Do not fear those who can destroy the body. They can only behead you. They can put a bullet in you. They can drive a knife through your heart, and then your body is destroyed. Your body is rendered inanimate, unconscious, unfeeling. All vital signs stop. But that's all they can do to you. After that, your soul leaves your body. It goes to the intermediate state to be with God, if you're a believer. And God, we read other places in the New Testament and the teachings of Jesus and Paul, and even some places in the Old Testament, that God is going to raise the dead. And there's going to be a resurrection. So he says, hey, don't fear those who can destroy the body. They can't do anything more than that. Fear the one who can destroy both body and soul. God can not only destroy your body, he can destroy your soul as well. He can destroy you completely. Now, why didn't this verse make me a conditionalist back when I was 18 years old? Well, I think simply put, it's because I had presuppositions. I had cultural blinders. I was reading the Bible through church tradition. I was not letting the Bible be naked, to allude to Michael Heiser's podcast. I was not letting the text speak for itself. And so I thought, hey, that's kind of weird. And I just kind of kept reading and eventually forgot about it. Now, I think this is very clear. God is going to destroy the wicked in both body and soul in hell. Now, to those who would claim, oh, you're taking the verse out of context. Okay, let's read the context. Matthew chapter 10, starting with verse 1. Jesus, I think it's verse 1. I should have left the numbers up. Okay. Well, it's a good chunk of Matthew 10 anyway. Quote, Jesus called his 12 disciples to him and gave them authority to drive out impure spirits and to heal every disease and sickness. These are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, who is called Peter, and his brother Andrew, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions. Do not go among the Gentiles or enter into any town of the Samaritans. Go rather to the lost sheep of Israel. As you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. Do not get any gold or silver or copper to take with you in your belts, no bag for the journey, or extra shirt, or sandals, or a staff. For the worker is worth his keep. Whatever town or village you enter, search there for some worthy person, and stay at their house until you leave. As you enter the home, give it your greeting. If the home is deserving, let your peace rest on it. If it is not, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet. Truly I tell you, it will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town. I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. Be on your guard. You will be handed over to the local councils and be flogged in the synagogues. On my account, you will be brought before governors and kings as witnesses to them and to the Gentiles. But when they arrest you, do not worry about what to say or how to say it. At that time, you will be given what to say. For it will not be you speaking, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. Children will rebel against their parents and have them put to death. You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. When you are persecuted in one place, flee to another. Truly I tell you, you will not finish going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. The student is not above the teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for students to be like their teachers and servants like their masters. If the head of the house has been called Beelzebul, how much more the members of his household? So do not be afraid of them, for there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. What is whispered in your ear, proclaim from the roofs. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. End quote. So in this passage, Matthew 10, Jesus is in the process of equipping the 12 disciples to send them out to evangelize. In verses 16 to 25, he warns the disciples of the terrible persecution they will face for being his disciples. And then verse 28 comes on the heels of these persecution predictions, and it comes immediately prior to verses 32 to 33. Verses 32 to 33, Jesus says, anyone who denies the Son of Man before my Father in heaven, the Son of Man will deny him. So, well, if being denied means going to hell, and going to hell is death of body and soul, well, he's giving them a motivation to not deny him before their persecutors, basically. That's what verse 28 does. It serves as a warning to the disciples of what will happen to them if they deny Jesus in the face of their persecutors. God will destroy the body and the soul of those who deny Jesus and are sent to hell. This is total annihilation. Now, how do traditionalists respond to this verse? Well, I know how I responded to it, and I found some others who responded to it in the same way, and it's not very satisfying. Basically, the argument is that Jesus is not saying what God will do, but just what God can do. Yes, God is omnipotent. He can do anything logically possible. Destroying a body and a soul, completely wiping a person out, is something God can do, and so that's really all Jesus is saying. What's the problem with that? Well, if that's the case, the thread is empty. Why fear God over what he can, but never ever intends on doing? I might as well fear God by, because he's able to make chocolate milk spring out of my ears while I'm doing this live stream and make me look silly. Well, I have no reason to believe that he's going to exercise his omnipotent power to do that. I remember an episode of the Rethinking Hell podcast where I think it was Glenn Peoples who said that this makes as much sense as Jesus telling his disciples that, oh, you're going to be persecuted. You're going to undergo all these persecutions, but do not fear those who could destroy the body, but fear God because he has the power to turn you into chickens. I mean, there's a lot of things God can do, but we believe based on what he said or based on the fact that, nature is pretty uniform and God only steps in and overrides the way nature usually works for a specific purpose. And making chocolate milk spring out of my ears would serve no purpose. Well, we're not gonna fear God over something that he never intends to do. If God never intends on destroying body and soul in hell, why in the world is he bringing it up in this context? It just makes no sense. It's a poor response.